put for that purpose. Is there any objection?
Mr. Speaker, the four things that I pick up on, in no particular order, in fact there'll be five things I'll make a comment on. Firstly, the ministerial powers have been spoken to by a number of people. It was interesting that the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove noted that the powers extended under the other bill weren't all used, and they certainly weren't indiscriminately used. The discussion around the powers, I think, will be interesting for the Select Committee, particularly to hear from the mayors of the local authorities who are quite certain about what they expect. And I think it will also become apparent during that process that those powers are going to be constrained by the type of requests that might come through. The next point was, I think, well made by Megan Woods around the psychosocial health of the city. There is a psychosocial health plan that does sit outside of this bill, but I can arrange for people to become more familiar with what that is. It's not something the government's walking away from. Mr O'Rourke mentioned the compulsory acquisition stuff, and I agree with him that you've got to be very careful around all of that. We haven't excessively used that during the last 5 years, the provisions that were there, and there are some very interesting reasons that did lead to some of the compulsory acquisitions. So what I would what I would suggest is that before the Select Committee even gets into too many hearings, that officials perhaps could have a time with Mr O'Rourke so that there can be an understanding of why we think there's a necessity to have that there. That may in some way help with the concerns that that he has. I'm not diminishing those concerns in any way. Before the final point, suggestion about a transport agency, I welcome that. This bill would enable it, but if people are interested in doing something outside of that, then I think we're interested in talking about that. Final point. The final point is the time factor. So we will be voting for the 25th of February report back. That gives a total of 15 weeks between now and that report back, where the House could expect it would be working. So 7 weeks between now and the 18th of December, and 8 weeks from the 18th of January to the 25th of February. On that basis, sir, I think we're not cutting the time short. So this bill, sir, I think what I'm trying to indicate is that there is, given the level of support, a lot of room to talk about the issues that perhaps cause concern at the moment.
Members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye, and to the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Greater Christchurch Regeneration Bill, first reading.
Members, the question is that the Greater Christchurch Regeneration Bill be considered by the Local Government and Environment Committee. Those of that opinion will say aye, and to the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
I move that the Greater Christchurch Regeneration Bill be reported back to the House by the 25th of February 2016.
Members, Dr Megan Woods has moved an amendment to the motion replacing the 25th of February 2016 with the 24th of March 2016. The question is that the amendment to the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye, and the contrary, no. The noes have it. The party vote is called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Members, the ayes are 58 and the noes are 63. The motion is not agreed to. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye, and to the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Axe New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 63 and the noes are 58. The motion is agreed to. Call on Government Order of the Day number 2 and 3.